still on purpose and on the book of Destined, like I told you, by Madame Irene Kauma. There's a part where she writes, I never lived in my father's home, yet he was a government minister and later an expatriate. I never went to the same quality schools my siblings went to. That was my story. My aunt, who was also my stepmother, never acknowledged my existence. She ignored me and did not respond or even look at me when I greeted her. My siblings never acknowledged that I was part of their family, even though we looked so much alike. That shaped who I thought I was and left me feeling very insecure with a very poor self-image. So many of us, like I was saying, we carry so many insecurities about ourselves. Maybe people make fun of you because you're overweight. Maybe people make fun of you because you're dark. Maybe people make fun of you because you're poor. You know, like, we all have our insecurities. There is no one who will tell you, I figured it all out, what. Of course, there are those who are better off, like they've healed, they've overcome. But it doesn't mean they have no insecurities, they have no triggers. They are still there, but they've just managed, they've mastered themselves, and they've learned how to handle those things and not let them bother them. Like when you are unhealed, someone says a small word and you're triggered and you start screaming, you start shouting. Now for her, she would see her siblings and it was like she was you're non-existent. Your auntie is your auntie is literally like your mother, your stepmother, and she's ignoring you every time you greet her, So I'm sure there's so many people going through so many things I cannot even imagine. And you think somehow you are destined for failure, you are destined for suffering, you are destined for pain, you are destined to be cursed, you are destined to be, for the worst to happen to you. And I just want to encourage you that through that pain, you can turn that pain around. God can turn that pain around for you, For example, for me, I think my biggest turning point was watching my father die. I had never lost anyone close to me. Here I was in the clinic, thinking it was a normal day, and then I see my father pass on. It was the biggest shock of my life. And the very first question that came into my mind was, what have you done with your life? I know it is strange. Why would I have that question? But that is the very first question that hit me. What have I done with my life? I watched my father lay there. I was in shock. I was screaming. It felt like it was a movie, but it was real. And then you want to wake up, but you can't wake up. And you are traumatized, and it is a feeling that is very unexplainable. Only if you've gone through it can you understand it. That hit me, and I was like, Christine, what are you doing with your life? What contribution are you making to the world? I think God needed to do that. At the time, it felt like God hates me. God just wants to torture me and make me live a miserable life. That's what it felt like at that moment, because there were so many other things that had been going wrong in my life. In all areas of my life, so many things were going wrong. But He used my father's death to get me out of my shell. I wouldn't be speaking here to you today if it wasn't for my father and my brother's death. Those things showed me that life is so short. And my brother, he died at the age of 42. He had no child. He never married. I thought we were going to grow old together. We were so close. I knew we were going to grow old together. We had even made plans for the next year. And here he was, again, me standing there watching my brother die. So those were two people I had been present when they were dying. And I realized that all this fear I have, all this anxiety of, oh my God, what are people going to think? It just kind of disappeared because I used to fear so much. Even now, it takes a lot of courage to speak right now, a lot. But I keep asking myself, what is the alternative? That's number one. Number two, if not now, when? If not now, when? When I'm dead? How different am I from my brother who died? How different am I from my friends who died younger than me? It took those two people dying to wake me up and get me out of my shell and tell me, Christine, you need to start waking up. You need to start doing something. You need to open your mouth. You need to speak. You need to share your gift with the world. Whatever that gift is. And I hope you don't have to go through that. Because for me, it was like deja vu. It's like you're going through the same thing with two different people and you don't understand, what is God doing? Like, what is this? I even told him, you know what, God, you've made a mistake. Especially when it came to my brother, I said, you've made a mistake. You have made a mistake. I was so angry. I was so angry with God. But here I am talking about God. Here I am. Something that should have destroyed me and separated me completely from God instead has brought me here to speak about my journey and, my experience, to encourage people, because my life is far from perfect. It's not even close to perfect. I mean, far from perfect, but here I am speaking. Like, that's why I keep telling people, God doesn't need you to be perfect to use you, because I am not perfect in any way. So God can use your horrible story, your trauma, your poverty, your lack, your misfortune to rewrite a beautiful story. So do not give up on yourself. And sometimes it feels like, oh my God, which year, when, what? I know. You're like, man, I've been on this journey for 10 years, 20 years. Nothing seems to be changing. But something is changing. As long as you continue to believe in yourself and hope for the better. Something will change. You just have to keep believing. I keep saying that because I need to believe it too. It's not just me telling you, I too need to believe it. Because I have seen it in people's lives. Anyway, thank you for listening and have a fabulous day. Bye.